Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 14-10 middleweight from Alberta. Going to hear about his story and hopefully seeing him in the near future in the cage. Tim Shady Smith, how's it going today?
It's doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate it. Try not to take up too much of your time. I know you got some stuff to get to later today, but just talk about growing up in Alberta and some of the hobbies you had, and then what led you into MMA.
Well, I did boxing when I was young. When I was like 13, I dropped out of school at a young age, and I was roofing, and I didn't do much for hobbies and stuff like that. I was got into some trouble and stuff like that, and I got some charges and kind of started straightening out my life, and I found MMA, and that's where I kind of took a road for the better for a while, and it got me on my feet and set up in life, kind of.
Yeah, just mention a few of the, the gym that you were training at as you got into it, and also, some of the coaches that have been kind of by your side throughout your career.
Yeah, my first coach was Crew Steve Bergeron out of National Kickboxing in Edmonton. It was the first gym I signed up at. I was with him for eight to 10 years or so, and went on through a few other gyms in Edmonton, Kamikaze Punishment. And then I was at Hayabusa with Luke Harris for a year or two. And then I was inactive for 5 years and then moved to Calgary. And I've been with Brad Cardinal at Cardinal MMA for the last year and a half.
Okay, yeah. And, your career, it's obviously very successful, the Unified champ, and great to hear that Unified's coming back this year. Pumped to see some of those cards. And, congratulations on those accolades. I rechecked your MMA record and all that stuff. And, some of the guys you had fought, like it's not like you took any easy route, right? Like you had 3-4 guys that have been in the UFC. So, just talk about your experience up until this point, the amount of fights you've had, and, the tough battles you've had in that cage.
Yeah, for sure. When I first got into it, I was gung-ho. I was taking on any fight that was thrown at me, I'd take. So I definitely had some tough fights in my earlier career. And against some of the toughest guys in Canada, like you said. And I think it helped me, well-rounded me as a fighter to know what the competition's like up there, what I'm stepping in against when I'm going against those high-level guys. And I know I can hang with them. And I believe now, being on the path I'm on now, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I'm the most clear-headed. I battled with addiction for a few years there. I lost my path in the fight game for about 5 years there. I fell off. And no one actually beat me for my Unified 155 titles. They got taken away from me for being inactive, And luckily, I didn't die while I was out there, and I made my way back, found recovery, and I'm living in recovery now. So I don't have any crutches now. I feel like when I come back, like my age, I'm getting a little bit up there, but I feel like mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, the best I ever have in my life. And I think when Unified fires back up and I get a chance to come back and compete actively full time, it's going to be a game changer. And I think I'm going to come back, and I'm coming for the 165 Unified title.
Yeah, and that can't wait for that. And I think the most important thing that you said there is, mentally, physically, spiritually, you're in, the best part of your life. So kudos to that. If you don't mind just sharing quickly, because I reached out to you after seeing, your story on TV. Obviously, I knew who you were. I've seen you fight on TV before. And then we just started this podcast in the last year and a half. So I've been reaching out to, active fighters that, that have a fight coming up. So I hadn't reached out to you before, but then, got recollected with your story on TV about who you were and all your success, but also the struggles you've gone through. So just, you don't have to give a huge rundown or anything, but I guess kind of what got you in that hole and how did you get out? Because a lot of people don't. And again, kudos to you for that and getting back to a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. I dabbled with drugs my whole life since I was 13. I was always drank on weekends. I was always like a full-time pot smoker. And, on some weekends I'd dabble in with going to the clubs and partying, doing ecstasy, doing cocaine and stuff like that. But I'd always go back to my normal week schedule, go back to work, go back to, even when I was fighting for my whole career, I smoked weed and drank and did stuff on weekends. And I got married, had a kid, and me and the wife broke up, and things started going downhill for me. I took my kid, moved out, and that's when I was introduced to crystal meth, and it really gripped me. I became an everyday drug user. Things got so bad. My dad took my kid and moved to BC to my sister's house, and like I lost everything. I lost my job, my truck, my house. I was homeless, living out of a storage shelter. My titles were taken away from me. I wasn't training, I wasn't fighting, and I was just completely at rock bottom. And luckily, my sister had the courage to reach out to the show Intervention and kind of give him my story, like a four-time champion, lost his way. And they got my first coach involved with it, Steve Bergeron. And I hadn't talked to him for a few years, and he called me. And he's doing some YouTube videos teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over YouTube. And he said that there was some local like filmmakers down there that were interested in my story. They're doing a thing for like successful people that lost their way due to substance abuse and addiction. So the line they had behind it was four-time Canadian champion, lost his way. So I thought I was just doing a little video shoot for like some small-time internet people, is just going to reach a few people, show that that drugs and addiction can affect anybody. A lot of people think it's just certain cultures or people that get affected by addiction, but it's really, and that addiction it chooses anybody. It doesn't like pick and choose who it goes after anybody.
Yeah.
And so up until the ending of the show, that's when I found out it was the Intervention. I had a chance to get on the plane and go for help and stuff like that, and seeing all my family there and knowing my past, and like I wanted help and I wanted a way out. I just didn't know how to go about getting it. So I got on the plane and I got into recovery, and now I'm over 2.5 years clean. My life's like complete change, and it was better than it was before. So I'm kind of thankful for the struggles and the stuff that I went through, because I'd probably still be half-assed in my career, dabbling with smoking weed and drinking on weekends and stuff like that. Now, like I'm back, I'm fully focused, and I got no crutches in my life. And that was going into fights before. It was always in the back of my mind. It would mess with my confidence a little bit, like, fuck, I was partying 2 weeks ago. Am I going to gas out in this fight? So I think like I got a better edge coming back at it, coming at my next run here. I think I'm going to run through some guys, get that belt back. I might be too old to get a call from the UFC, but I'm not. I still got that as the forefront of my dream. I'd like to make it to the UFC and have a couple fights there, because I know I've gone toe to toe with a few guys that have been there and done good in the UFC, and I think I can compete at that level. And if not, I'm definitely going to get the unified 165 belt. If not this year, next year.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I remember hearing too was goal setting. Goal setting's huge. Being able to reach that goal. My wife loves that show. I watch it once in a while, but sometimes it's tough watching the end of a story and seeing that they couldn't come out of that. It kind of hurts me inside. So I saw a couple times that it didn't work out at a couple of the places that you went to. I guess, was that true? And if so, was it that addiction still trying to pull you back in?
What happened was, like, the first treatment center I went to, I just bumped heads with one of the counselors, and I kind of threatened him a little bit. And like, I had no idea about recovery or what that life was about, or if I'm from like the street, a little bit of a hard ass from Edmonton, and kind of threatened him a bit. So I seen that, that didn't work there. I got kicked out. Luckily the show found me another treatment center to go, Fresh Start Recovery. I got into there, and I was doing good for about a month, but I bumped heads with one of the guys, and things got physical. I assaulted him, so I was asked to leave. And I really wanted it. I had that taste of that life, of that recovery. I seen that there was hope and there was a solution for what I was battling there. So I kept calling them and like begged them to get back in there, and thankfully I got a second chance to get back in there. They let me back in there, and I came in there like open-minded, willing, like broken and hopeless. I really wanted this thing, so I listened to all the suggestions given to me, and here I am 2.5 years later, clean, and I actually work at that treatment center now that gave me that second chance at Fresh Start Recovery.
You do work there?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Congratulations for that.
Thanks.
That's amazing. You can inspire a lot of people with your story, which I think is what it's all about. So just speak, potentially there could be, something coming up here for you. Obviously you're working towards that. Do you think it could be sometime this year then, or?
Yeah, like Unified was supposed to have a show in June, then it got pushed back to July, and now it's getting pushed back to September. They're saying there's gonna be a show in September. Sonny, the promoter, I've been in contact with him. He says he's getting me on his first show 100%. So whoever he lines up for me, I'll be making weight and I'll be fighting. So like I say 100% I'll be in the cage this year.
It's fantastic. I can't wait. I was going to ask you just other hobbies outside of training and um, sorry, training and working. But I know you saw a lot about your son. You know, I added you to Facebook, see some posts of that. How good is it to be, connected with him and being dad, I guess, again?
It's amazing. Like that's another thing that this recovery's brought me before. Like before, when I had my son, like I was with him and stuff every day, taking care of him, but I wasn't fully present with him. Like he was there. The days were going by. My head was a little bit cloudy, and now having a clear head, living a life of recovery, like my bond and my time with my son is so much more. Like just being present with him and being there as a dad, and it's like probably the greatest joy I have in my life right now.
That's awesome. So, what are a couple things you like doing together with him?
Right now, he likes to like when my nights. I work 4 days on, 2 days off. So when my nights off fall on weekends and he doesn't have school, he likes to get in the back seat of the car with the dog, and then I drive late at night, and then he tells me turn left here, turn right there. And he likes to take me down to like dark, sketchy areas. He calls them. He goes, "This is a sketchy area," and then he gets a kick out of that. And then looking for nice views of downtown at nighttime and stuff like that.
Oh,
And then we go play soccer and take the dog for a walk and go for bike rides and stuff like that.
that's awesome. Our last segment's called Between Rounds. I'm going to ask you a question. You give me your best answer, okay?
Sure.
What's your favorite kind of food to eat?
Pizza.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
MMA is the only sport.
What's I've actually lived in Edmonton for 6 months, but what's I guess your favorite part of Alberta for someone that hasn't been that you'd like to, tell them it's a great spot to check out?
I like the mountains for sure. Go. Yeah, the mountains in Canmore are a very beautiful spot in Alberta. I like to go for hikes and stuff out there, and it's great.
Yeah, that was my favorite spot when I headed out that way too, and Banff as well. Um, what's your favorite country in the world other than Canada?
I've only been to the Dominican Republic outside of Canada. Let's go with Brazil because that's where Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu comes from, or Thailand, Muay Thai.
Awesome. Favorite type of music?
Uh, Dance music, electronic, minimal trance.
Favorite movie of all time?
I like Scarface.
Good one. And just a few inspirational mixed martial artists that you looked up to as you're fighting, or even now.
There's so many of them, I like Chuck Liddell. I like a lot of the stand up fighters for sure. Shogun Hua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, a couple of legends. Just to finish up, do you have any sponsors, shout outs, or social media you wanted to shout out?
I can't think of them right now. Two-Ton Roofing in Edmonton. Yeah, I had a list of them for my last few fights. I can't think of them off the top of my head though.
Yeah, and where can anyone find you? If they wanted to keep up with your story and also your comeback here.
I'm on Shady MMA, Shady Time MMA on Instagram, and just Tim Shady on Facebook.
Awesome, Tim. Honestly, I'm very excited to talk to you today. Just love hearing stories like this. Sports is all about the comeback story, and very happy to hear where things have come because one of the best MMA fighters in Canada over the years, and looking forward to you getting right back in there. Enjoy this summer with your son, and hope to watch you on the screen sometime soon.
Awesome. I promise big things in the near future coming from me.
Thanks so much. This is Tim Shady Smith, and this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man.